A few thoughts from my friends and supporters as we approach the inaugural day of Donald Trump. First and foremost, we're a nation of laws. I serve in the House of Representatives, the People's House, established under Article 1, Section 1. And then, of course, we have the United States Senate, sometimes dysfunctional, but they're there. The President represents the executive branch to faithfully carry out the laws adopted by the Congress of the United States. No president is above the law. Presidents do not rule in our country by edicts. They don't even rule by tweet. They are subject to the law. Now, there are some loopholes. I'm on legislation that's been introduced in the House to include specifically the President and Vice President under conflict of interest laws. Today, they are, for whatever reason, excluded from that. I've sponsored legislation to require the President to disclose his taxes to the people of the United States. We need to know what his business dealings are worldwide and who he might owe money to and how otherwise he is obligated. Third, we need to look at other dealings, the emoluments clause. The whole issue of dealing with foreign nations for profit. His hotel in Washington, D.C., in my opinion, he will be clearly in violation of the law the moment he is sworn in. Elijah Cummings, senior Democrat on oversight, and I have been in communication constantly with the Government Services Administration. There's a Civil War era law that says no elected government official can profit from a lease of federal property. And the steps he has proposed are not adequate to take care of that. There are areas where I want to hold him to his promises. I want him to drain the swamp. I've introduced legislation to deliver on his promise, to not have his 3,600 political appointees engage in a revolving door with special interests. He has said a lot of things about how he's going to have them precluded for 5 years. Nothing under law would cover that. I've introduced legislation that would do that. I held a press conference on the first day of Congress with Richard Trumka, head of the AFL-CIO, and we put forward the points that need to be in a renegotiated NAFTA and any and all future trade deals in our country to protect the American people, our jobs, our economy, the environment. And then finally, he's made huge promises about infrastructure. Well, our infrastructure is incredibly neglected, whether we're talking about our surface transportation, infrastructure, which includes 140,000 bridges that need repair or replacement, 40% of the national highway system needs total rebuilding, $85 billion deficit to bring our transit systems that exist up to a state of good repair, let alone new transit options to get people out of traffic. Water systems, clearly, look at Detroit. Sewer systems. There's just unbelievable need for investment. The good news is these would be American jobs. They make our country more productive and safer for all our citizens. But I've seen no real proposal. And I'm pushing very hard on the administration to deliver on that promise. There are also a lot of threats. We have the threat of the outright repeal of the Affordable Care Act with no replacement. 23 million Americans lose their health insurance. We need to fight that tooth and nail. We also have a woman's right to choice. The Republicans are proposing to defund Planned Parenthood. That's just the beginning of a campaign to overturn Roe v. Wade and turn back the clock to those bad old days where women did not have the right to control their own bodies. We have quality public education. I've seen appalling testimony, so-called, by this Betsy DeVos to be the Secretary of Education, showing an extraordinary ignorance and disrespect for public education and how that essential underpinning of our democracy has worked for so many years to give everybody a chance at the American dream. We also have equal rights that are threatened in so many ways. This is just a short list. There are many other things, many other causes we'll have to fight for over the next few years. So I'm urging you to get involved, be active, get organized, speak out, join a group that is working for your priorities, the things you want to protect. One of the few good things I've seen come out of this election is I've heard from a whole host of people who've told me I've never really been that involved before, but now I will be. Well, let's deliver on that promise. Let's have millions of Americans more engaged in this process, and let's deliver on the promise of our country, equal opportunity and justice for all.